with a party of 40. What is up, everybody? How you guys doing? The raid has now happened, and yes, you guys are enjoying the Double Toast pre-show. I'm over here by myself. I'm not going to be for long. Hold on 1 second. I got to let this man in. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, Alan is here. Oh, shit, and I think my boy's over here, too. Ganja's here. We have started. I was literally already saying, I'm over here by myself, guys.
Nah, I'm running late. Like Batman swooping in to save the day and shit.
Goddamn right. And I totally wasn't just playing Resident Evil 8.
And
like
Alan's my Robin.
No.
He wears the tight shorts for me and everything.
You know what, honestly, though, because you wear lots of green and everything, too. Alan, I can see that being the case, dude.
And then he finally gets mad at me, we fight, and then he becomes like Nightbird Man.
Dude,
Nightwing.
So here's the thing. Yeah, that would be terrible. Nightbird, man. He's only a bird at night.
You could have just stuck with the Robin motif and went with Nightwing, but you had to create your own bullshit for some fucking reason.
Hey, he's just trying to be creative. I mean,
originality is the key, fucker.
I'll give him some credit there. He's trying to be creative.
No!
I like that.
Creative doesn't matter if you suck.
No, I like that. No, not creative. I'm a comic book fan. Don't be creative at all.
That wasn't... Creativity doesn't matter if you're terrible at it.
Oh, that's fucked up, dog. I can't wait for you to have kids and shit. You just be like, man, that tree was garbage, son.
What 4-year-old? I can't believe you were not a Picasso. It's like, no.
But can you imagine a little kid walking up to Papa Allen and shit, just like, hey, Daddy, you see my drawings? Like, get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit.
Oh, right. You're right. I forgot Ganja's a 4-year-old.
I am,
yeah.
and you don't respect
I
my work,
Dad. Like a child.
Alan basically turned, he used babality.
It's okay, baby. You did it.
I tried my best. I make a joke. You damn right. Cuddle me, bitch.
No.
Anyways, guys, we're here. Double Toast pre-show. Sunday service is going to be starting at 5:45. They're going to be talking about Wrath of Man. I was looking over for that fucking movie. I could not find it. So
I guess it's only in theaters.
Yeah. Well, it does say in the trailer. I don't know if you're trying to be funny, trying to be a dick with me. But
no, I didn't watch it. I only watched that one trailer. Did it say it there?
Yeah, I did. It's like only in theaters.
Oh, okay.
But like, still, even if it's only in theaters, like usually there's like a bootleg somewhere or something. I tried to watch that shit, I couldn't find nothing. I was like, what the fuck? So I was pretty upset by that. But it is what it is. I'm only upset because that would have been a really good like fodder for the show, where I could just sit there and just talk shit about Jason Statham and action movies and stuff. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that. So that's where we're at there, guys. Alan, are you going to be trying to watch that sometime in the next week or no?
If I can get a copy of it that doesn't look like shit. Of course, yeah. I watch a lot of Jason Statham movies. I'm not going to say I watch all, because that man makes a lot of movies, but like, I watch a lot of his movies.
Yeah, man. But what you call it, Ganja, what was the last movie that you've been excited for? I know I've asked you this every like month or so, but like, there has been a new flux of content put out there. What's the last thing that you've been excited to come out?
I don't have a movie that I'm excited for. I'm actually excited for the Resident Evil television show.
Oh, yes.
I'm interested in how it's going to be done. I hope it's what the case is. Like, kind of like what happened with Next Gen. Because Netflix has a problem like this where the trailers are garbage and the show's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's the case.
No, me too. I hope that's the case as well. But I gotta tell you, dude, like, even an anime thing that they show, like the animated, like whatever the fuck, that looked bad. And then like, as far as this movie that's gonna be coming out, or I don't know if it's a movie or a series, dude. There's like 3 different like cinematic Resident Evil things happening, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck these are. Not to mention, there's the Resident Evil 8 thing going on, and then like they're gonna be remaking 4. Then they're gonna continue with the remakes.
I cannot fucking wait for that remake.
Based on what Resident Evil Village is right now, oh my god, I can't wait either, because this is okay. Alan, can we talk about Resident Evil?
Let's just fucking, who cares? Let's go into it.
Okay.
Do you like it?
It's so
the worst game I've ever fucking played in my entire fucking... I'm kidding.
Oh,
I was about to slap the fucking mustache.
Bro.
Hold on a second, Nick. I thought you were having like mixed feelings about it.
I was somewhat having mixed feelings because I was like,
I do have some issues. I think they're slight, but we might have the same issues. There's only really one glaring issue I have with the game. Besides that, I think this game is phenomenal.
Yeah, what's your glaring issue? Because let's get to, everyone's talking good about this. Let's do the chat tag thing.
Let's get the bad thing out of the way because it's one. I am getting lost.
Thank you so much. That's exactly.
I don't know where to go. Literally, I just keep going like, go through this room, check under the desk, look at this fucking thing 100 times. Like, yeah. What do I fucking do? Yeah. And then I figure it out. I'm like, oh, thank God.
And you feel stupid afterwards too, because it's like, why didn't I see that? Like, come on. But
no, sometimes it's just luck. You figure it out, and you're like, oh, okay. But that's it. That's the end of my list. The shooting is fucking awesome. The crafting system is pretty fucking good. I like finding stuff all over the environment. It feels very similar to, they took a lot of stuff that worked in RE4 and put it back in here. They brought the fucking attaché case back. Everything added. There's not a single change from the RE4 thing.
Oh, they brought that back for you. Fuck.
Yeah, the best inventory system ever created in a video game. They brought it back. The game looks fucking amazing, photorealistic. Like when you're looking at like chairs and like the walls and shit like that, everything looks good. It's atmospheric.
I got a quick question, and it has nothing to do with story, so it's not spoiler. Yeah. I heard there's a gameplay mechanic where you actually lose limbs and shit and reattach it.
Yeah,
it's okay. Never mind. I have two growing issues. I don't want to spoil it, but there's something that happens at one point where I'm like, okay, Nick, are the herbs magic?
Yes.
No, it's it's even worse than herbs now. Now it's just like a drink, like a herby.
Yeah, but you make it by combining herbs and whatever, herb and the chemical thing. Is that just magic?
But see, it's always been magic, because even in Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, I felt like that was really ridiculous back then. Like, oh, a zombie bit my fucking neck off, and Nemesis is shooting a tentacle up my butt.
Look, man,
but,
this isn't the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. But when your wife gets shot up, why don't you just go click and just start pouring it on her? Because it's magic.
Because at the end of the day, they can't. Every game can't be hardcore mode with the minute you lose your hand, you just fucking bleed out.
But the thing
it says game over.
Okay, Ethan has a really bad habit of losing his hands. Like it's a running joke at this point. But in Resident Evil 7, he gets his hand cut off, but they stitch it back, and it's like virus, whatever the fuck. So he gets his hand back. Here, it's like you might as well have used duct tape.
Well, in literally seconds, he pours the stuff on it, and then I don't even see him put the hand where the liquid was. He just poured liquid, and then I shot somebody, and it's on first person, so you see it. He just pulls out his hand that was just chopped off a second ago, and now he's shooting with a shotgun. I'm like, motherfucker, you need fingers to pull that trigger. Like, what?
That's the only thing. We won't go more into detail. It's just now I was like that. I'm like, okay, look, I can't give RE5 so much shit for all its dumb shit without also calling out dumb shit in a game I enjoy. But everything is great. Like one of my biggest problems with Resident Evil 7 is I felt that the boss fights were really not that fun because it was so stiff to move. It felt like tank controls of first person. But with this, it's like you still have that, but there's a little bit more maneuverability. This feels like a sequel where it's in a sense when you're blocking basic enemies, if you do it like a parry, he'll do like a cool punch kick combo and push them back. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense because this character starts off like he's just a regular guy, but then they kind of say it's like, hey, you went through RE7, had a couple years of training, and now he's basically like a Resident Evil main character. So it ends up being a lot of fun going through. Exploring is really interesting. The levels look good. It gives you enough ammos in the level to deal with it, but then you also get a lot of stuff to create your own stuff. So you never really feel like if you're running out of ammos, because it's a big problem happening to you right now.
Yeah, well, here's the only thing I don't like about the situation in the game, because I do have that one issue as well as far as being lost, whatever. And we already kind of covered that, but the main thing I really want to talk about is I don't like how you're talking about the bosses. For me, I feel like when I shoot even the Lycans or whatever, which it makes sense why they're not reacting, but I don't feel good for fighting. I'm only fighting so I can get some more lean or whatever, which is basically the currency.
Say lean? What?
Is it called lean?
That's not what I'm like. What?
No, is it not called that, or am I tripping?
Why are you tripping on lean?
I mean, it's
I
not
know
called lean in the game. It's a joke.
Like resistant.
It's some shit.
It's not called in Resident Evil. You made lean. It's like
you got purple drink.
Don't get too turned up. That's the thing. Don't get too turned up.
You go to the fucking merchant. He's like, "Hey, you got some lean? I'll give you some fucking green."
I got some of that good shit.
No, but
you got a recipe to make lean.
It's essentially it's one of those things though. While you're making meth in the back of the house, or whatever, you're actually hanging out with the fucking merchant, and it's cool that I have all these upgrades for my guns, like my shotgun, and everything like that too. But I feel like they don't have as much of effect as when Resident Evil 4 did, because in Resident Evil 4, if you upgrade your
Resident Evil 4, they never had as much effect as that game. That game is probably one of the best reaction physics I've ever seen to bullets, because Resident Evil 5 didn't even have that. Because we played it there, and I'm like, Resident Evil 5 to have it. To me, I think this is still good. I think this is better than Resident Evil 2 or 3, because it doesn't feel like bullet sponges. It's like sometimes they'll kind of bit, but then you get after a couple shots, they'll stutter. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. That means you're getting there. It's like you're halfway through their damage, 2/3 type shit. But Blasian in the chat was asking, did we drool over Lady D? No, I love her design. But I have a question. Mr. X, if you just walk behind him, does he ever notice you? Because I literally posted on my Facebook right now, 20 seconds of just walking behind her. She doesn't even notice
I
me.
had another issue, and who knows if it's just something on my end, whatever the fuck. But she like, and I'm just dumb. I fight her because like I have enough bullets and stuff that I'm trying to like knock her down or whatever. And which it doesn't really happen. She never gets really knocked down. At least with Nemesis and Mr. X can knock her down. She does not stop. But she's so chubby. Like, I mean, I'm sorry guys, she's fat. That's the whole reason why everyone's like, oh, she's sexy, she's tall and big and whatever. But like we're in corridors, so I can't even fucking move to the side of her. I'm stuck up against a picture, and then it'd be one thing if like you hit me and like my life goes on, but she hits me, and then Ethan, because we gotta get it across, like, oh, he's just a normal guy. He's like, oh,
Is
ow,
he?
fuck, oh, ow.
Is he? Oh, by the way, you do get sliced off by like basically Wolverine, but is he a normal guy? Because I remember doing this one to you. It's like fucking
Thick man, by the way.
Ethan Winters has as much durability as Dante.
Well, no, yeah, and I mean, this is because of video game logic. I mean, obviously, this dude is getting bitten by werewolves. If I got bitten by a werewolf, I'm fucked right away. We're done.
Oh, like even in cutscenes, like
Yeah.
they're slicing this man up, but like the thing is, it's like I actually kind of like the fact that her basically her character model is big enough they can't just run around her, because it means you have to go through doors and you have to go through kind of run around and stuff like that. And I like that the chasing, but my issue is that she does not notice you like sometimes where it's like you can almost like. I don't know. I've never really found this problem with Nemesis. Yes, because he chases you and basically like he's a Dark Souls boss.
Also,
But Mr. X
though,
was easy to avoid.
Okay, Mr. X was somewhat easy to avoid. I will say though that like you already have so much of the world already open to get away from her. This house that you're stuck with, the Dimimitru, Lady D, we'll call her.
Yeah.
They lock you in that mansion. And that's the thing that kind of sucks. And
I'm just at that point where I have to get the masks. I just stopped playing as I was about to put the last mask.
That's literally right where I stopped too, by the way.
Yeah.
So like we're in literally the exact same spot. But I will tell you though, is like that's something I also don't like too, because you got like the bug lady that keeps chasing you, and then you got another one of her, and these bosses don't have much of identities. I know that like when I first fought, another boss like in Resident Evil 3 or even Resident Evil 2, I even give Resident Evil 2 some love. I feel like these boss fights definitely have identity. Where I'm fighting these girls, and to be honest, I don't even know their names. Because they're saying
they do have
thing.
names, but they don't really matter. But at the end of the day, it's like they're the mini bosses. They're to train you to get you kind of ready for the bigger people, because you're in that room and you see all the basically the interesting looking characters. And when you see the sisters, they're like, okay, this is just to get the ball started. Because one of the things I really liked is I liked the boss fights. Like fighting those sisters was a lot of fun, because the environment was built really well that can kind of can basically run and shuffle around. That I'm able to kind of shoot them as need be. I really like the mechanic. Like again, that's a spoiler, so I won't go into it. But there's an interesting mechanic they add in to help you fight them, and I really like that. They put a bit of ammo in the environment so you can actually win, but it became like it wasn't like frustrating, because when you play RE7 the first time and you're fighting the dude with the chainsaw, it's a fucking Herculean task to turn around.
Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass. And here you even get a button to do that for you right away. I'm like, wow, like you guys implemented this in a first-person setting? Like that's amazing to hit circle and like literally dodge.
Yeah, I'm talking about this kind of just want to play Resident Evil 4. I'll be honest with you.
Oh yeah. The quick turn is one of the best things. I don't use it too much because it makes me dizzy, but it's I can see other people. It literally makes me dizzy. I can't do it. So I never do.
Whoa.
But everything about this game is like my issues are like a short list, like 3 items. But everything that I love about this game is this is everything. Like this is a sequel. You took what worked in Resident Evil 7, you expanded on it. But the most important thing I want to say about this, and I don't know if they can agree with me, Resident Evil 7 is Dead Space 1. Resident Evil 8 is Dead Space 2.
Well, see, I can't say too much to that because I never. I beat Dead Space 1, but it was a long, long time ago, and 2, I never even got to play a lot.
The way to summing it up is Dead Space 1 was very jump scary, was very atmospheric, was very like you're not sure what's above, you hear sounds in the vents, and every scare was something jumping out of the wall, basically trying to scare you with jump scares.
Yeah.
Dead Space 2 was all about there's so many monsters, there's so much chasing you that the overwhelming force is what you're terrified of. You walk down a hallway and there's 100 of the aliens trying to kill you.
Yeah, you're terrified of danger versus terrified of scare.
Exactly. And then Resident Evil 7, you're terrified of scares. Resident Evil 8, you're terrified of danger. Because that fucking village sequence in which every man, woman, and child that's been turned is chasing you, that took me an hour.
Yeah.
I was playing it on hard, I'm like, bro, I almost gave up.
Yeah, dude. And then I don't know if you got to this point, but I've beat so many of them that I ended up getting like a big boss right away. That's going to be coming way, way later on, like way past where I'm even at in the storyline. But the game knows that their characters are really cool, and like your enemies are really cool, so they don't mind turning that first mission into almost like a mini mercenaries mode, where you can
feels
gain
like
so much
yeah,
money.
yeah.
Yeah, like my currency went up a lot. I'm like, wow. So like because I stayed here, I was rewarded for my patience in the very beginning of the game. So now when I'm doing this shit with like Lady D and her sisters, I'm actually able to go to the merchant and buy a bunch of stuff. And it's like, wow, like I never had it where I can play the game and try to do good because of my skills, and the game's like, yo, you know what? Like, it's gonna take away the scares for you to have all these abilities, but like, let's give you some money. You know what I mean?
It basically changes it up. It's a different kind of scare because I don't think it's like Resident Evil 4 because Resident Evil 4 becomes an action game. They're still dealing with the scares. It feels more like a better I want to say a better version of Resident Evil 3, where it's more actiony, but it's not scary. Like it's not as scary. Like it basically not necessarily sacrificed, but it toned down the scares to increase the danger, but then it gave you the ammo to make sure you could survive. And that's a long thing. What did you?
Oh, I'm gonna read this really quick. Yeah,
thank you. For 14 months. Holy shit!
Thank you
so much, brother.
God damn, son.
Man, if you went on a spaceship, you could be to Mars and still be subscribed to us.
I'll take you to the moon, mister.
No, we might bring his subscription up when you're talking about that fucking movie we we're going to discuss earlier. But E-Mike, he says, since we're on the topic of Resident Evil, do you guys think that they're going to be doing a game featuring Hunk when the survivors of Alpha Team from Resident Evil 2? Yes, I do think they will, but I don't think they're going to keep calling him Hunk. That's a joke that needs to fucking stop because that character is actually interesting. Like that, I actually like Hunk. Like,
so they call him Hunk as a joke? I thought that was just like because Japanese people sometimes just name shit for name shit. Let's not forget DBZ is all vegetables.
Oh, he's not even kidding. The guy loves food. That's why there's so much food in that show all the time. Because the guy's a huge foodie. Kakarot, carrot, Vegeta, vegetables, like everything in that fucking thing. It's ridiculous.
But see, if you take like little bits from like what Hunk did, like when he survived whatever happened in the very beginning of Resident Evil Outbreak and Outbreak File number 2, and then take what he did in Resident Evil 2, and then take what he did in like little bits like after Veronica, I forgot which game. I think it was Revelations, whatever. But like he's done. Oh, and then he's technically somewhat in Resident Evil 4 because he helps Ada. So like there's certain things that Hunk has done. And then there's other characters who have taken his name, like his, I imagine like his licensing or whatever, but it's almost like, yo, my dad or my cousin, whatever, he was Hunk, and I'm going to be new Hunk, and whatever. It's like, I want to see that character go through all the shit he goes through, because it reminds me, not to go way off topic like we usually do, but hey, it's a chat attack, natural conversations, y'all, but like, Halo, I always want to see that story done without Master Chief.
Okay, I was like, "What Halo? How the fuck did that get involved?"
Like experience the world of Halo.
Yeah,
play Halo ODST.
Because those Spartans, they all look like Master Chief, so you can still get the iconography in there. But at the same time, it's like, I love these guys. Like they're super soldiers. That's still cool. Like you don't have to be the coolest guy ever. Like
my favorite is when you run to the other Spartans in the later on series where they actually do have personality types, and you learn like, hey, some of these people are kind of cool, but they grew up really fucked up when you start to think about it.
Yeah, what Soldier Boy saying in the chat, the ODST, Reach is terrible. Fucking Reach is, I fucking hate that game. But ODST is one of my favorite Halo games because you're playing as the regular Marines on the ground, the average fucking troopers that you bump into when you're Master Chief because you're like fucking 8 feet tall and you're chilling with the regular guys, and it's a lot of fucking fun. It has an incredible story. And I just felt, to me, Reach was just a Call of Duty game within the Halo universe, and it's not in a good way.
But that's one of those situations, like whether or not those games are bad. Which I remember playing one of them and I didn't like them. I don't know what the other one was, but it is what it is. But like when I played,
it's hard to tell with Halo. Like as much as they're like, oh, you're a regular soldier, you might as well just be Master Chief in every game.
But I still want them to try again later on because I know those were bad. And same thing with like Gears of War Judgment. I remember that game was kind of shitty with some of the things it took out, but they were focusing on different characters. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but like keep in mind, there's a lot of people like that are mixed in with the COG, which is the guys that are fighting off the Locusts in Gears of War. There's a lot of people that are connected with the Spartans. Like, there's a lot of universe building in these particular games.
Isn't there different societies in Gears of War?
There's villages all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like to take it back to Resident Evil, it's like we got this over here where there's even like somewhat of a war going on here where like if you notice, Alan, you're not fighting characters just based on missions or levels or whatever the fuck of storyline. When you're stuck inside the mansion, the reason why you're not fighting certain werewolves or whatever, or lichens, is because they don't go inside of places. And vampires, those girls, you would think, well, why didn't they chase people outside, or why didn't they see them earlier?
They don't go outside.
They don't go outside, yeah. So it's like, everything makes sense. Like, it's not just, oh, here's some characters and, like you're in this area, so you're gonna fight them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind that the bosses were a bit like not that. There's no like the three sisters. They're almost the same boss fight because I understand that this is the start. This is getting you ready so that you can go through and like Lady and the guy with the hammer and some of the other people are going to be the bigger bosses, much like RE7, where you played and you had the three family members that were all the three bosses you fight.
Are there safe rooms?
Actually, okay. I know there was a typewriter I bumped into at one point, but there are no safe rooms. Except, I mean, you can count the merchant's room because Lady, whatever the fuck, won't actually like follow you in there. Yeah. But it's weird because like it's not like a Resident Evil 2 or 3 where there's always zombies around. It's like they're very specific areas. Like in the house, there's almost
what's cool about that is because I like vampires. They're one of my favorite villain lores of old days. And one of the things, if you guys don't know about vampires, is if they have to be invited places, in order to visit or even stay at those spots, especially when it's a home of quote unquote a Christian person.
Yeah, but we're breaking into their house.
Yeah.
No, you're bringing it to their house, but one of the things that I like is the fact that they're not allowed to go into the mercenaries' house.
Yeah, but I also think like that's considered because I think safe room is essentially like almost a subjective term where it's like the game doesn't even really want to call it that. I think it's just one of those like, hey man, we gotta fucking there has to be some bit of levity somewhere or else this is gonna be fucking crazy. Because like I remember like with Resident Evil 5 or 6.
Yeah, I understand, but that like the levity fits within the lore. If you understand what I'm saying.
Oh
like,
yeah,
if
absolutely.
the mercenary's not cool with them, he doesn't let them in. They can't cross that boundary.
Yeah, man. But I don't know too much of the other character types. Like me and Alan said earlier, for people that are kind of scared if we're going to be, spoiling things, we're not too far enough to where we can spoil pretty much anything.
Literally a couple of hours in. And honestly, most of that is I kept getting lost.
Yeah, man. So,
Where am I?
but no, that
Look, I've always been bad with directions, and I've always claimed that. I've always had issues with maps as well. But like legitimately, I don't know where to fucking go half time. But as much as I had the issues with that game, one thing that I do really, really enjoy about this game is they realize fucking idiots like me play it. So they're like, well, let's try to help them out. Oh, hey, this piece looks like it could fit. Oh no, it doesn't fit. I guess I don't know where to go. No, the game's like, you can't use this in this state. And the dumbass like, what does that mean? Oh, let me examine it. Oh, something happens when I examine it. My biggest problem with RE2 is like the puzzle's like, I don't know where the fuck I'm supposed to go. Oh, did you examine your badge? Why the fuck would I? Why is there a USB in here?
Yeah.
Why? There's no logical fucking reason to
you
put
would
that in
literally
there.
never be able to put that together in Resident Evil 2 Remake, and that's so
You just
annoying.
make it up and hope it works out.
Yeah, people were complaining about the easy puzzling in Resident Evil 3 Remake, but like for me, it's like, and that goes to the Nemesis thing too, where I could still prefer Nemesis over all the bad guys, including Lady D, because Lady D, she's always talking to the point where it almost like, come over here, Ethan, my sweet, sexy, butt fucking poo-poo caca.
No, the sisters do that more. The Lady D is like, I'll fuck you up.
But the thing is though with Nemesis, that the very subtle just stars. Like there's nothing scarier. Like I mean, it crawls on my skin just hearing that stars, and like that whole area is so wide. And it doesn't matter because Nemesis will fuck your shit up. He will not stop. And
there's one thing I want to talk about when it comes to puzzles. I love the puzzles in this game because they're a mix of traditional Resident Evil puzzles, but then they kind of do their own thing, but they're not overtly complicated. Like, if this counts as a spoiler, close your eyes. Close your eyes for a couple seconds. But my favorite puzzle. I'll say this without going too much detail. My favorite puzzle so far is the piano one.
So simple.
So simple, but complicated at the same time.
You know, it's a callback.
Yep.
Is it?
Moonlight Sonata. Resident Evil.
Oh. Yep. Yeah, because I remember doing this going, what the fuck? I just started pressing random. What the fuck? Oh, wait a second. Wait, what? Oh, shit. I got to learn how to read sheet music.
Yeah. And it's cool because, like, for me, that was another thing where I even liked about Last of Us 2. I know you hate that game and everything, but it's like, I like that people are playing more. Like, back in the day when you did, like, the Moonlight Sonata thing, I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to, okay, get piano sheets, get this, get that, put that together. And it just didn't make sense for the world, too, because if this was, like, a real-life situation, how would I do that? That piano puzzle, yeah, you're talking about right now for RE8, that would actually be a puzzle in real life. Like, if I went over there and I hit the fucking keys, that actually might open up something, you know? Like,
well, the benefit of this game is like when the police station being a fucking puzzle haven is the stupidest fucking thing. I don't care. Oh, it was a museum. I don't give a fuck. That's still fucking stupid.
I argue with that so much, and you still don't give a fuck.
I will still call that fucking stupid. But hey, what is this giant mansion? It's designed to torture and fuck with people, and it's been here for 3,000 years. Yeah, it's gonna have some stupid bullshit. It makes sense because guess what? They built that shit. Castles have puzzles and shit in there.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, I guess we can give like a small rate. I like to just do numeric shit. You can have to if you don't want to, Alan. But like for me, this is definitely a 4 out of 5 game. I fucking love this game, and I can tell it's gonna get a lot better. It's just I get confused and I get irritated when it happens. But I will say this too: this is definitely the spiritual successor to RE4 that me and Alan used to kind of like assume that it was gonna be. Or what? You don't think so?
No, I agree. I just didn't think about it until you said it. I'm like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like I feel like if we don't get an RE4 remake for a while, this will what do you call that? Like just it'll click your palate. Yeah. Or tie you over, yeah, exactly. So but yeah, what about you, dude? What would you numerically rate this amongst like your other first impressions of certain games?
This is definitely for me 4 out of 5, easily. Like it's up there, and it's like the little things I have problem. The only legitimate issue I have is you get lost so easily, and I'm not necessarily sure how you would fix that because they want you to explore and the exploration is fun. But sometimes it gets to a point where I've been spending 20 minutes and I literally have no fucking idea where to go, except when I have to go through the map. Like, oh shit, that room's empty. Let me just go over there. And it's like, it's just this constant like repetition of just going around the corner until you just get the thing you missed and you're able to continue. It's not as much now, but there are times where, especially when you're down on the ground in the village before you get into the castle, it is like, yo, where the hell am I supposed to fucking go? Like, legitimately, for a game that's kind of this linear / open world, it becomes a legitimate issue. That's why I'm not putting it at 4.5. And for real asking, I never put 5 out of 5s on any fucking media ever. I don't believe in perfect media, even my favorite games of all time. But definitely 4 out of 5, just because this game is so much fucking fun. I love the story. I love the voice acting. Everyone from Lady D to the other people you meet, to the sisters, to the merchant, like, everyone's good. Ethan himself is great. He has that mix of he can handle himself, but he's also clearly freaking out because he can't handle the fact that this is happening again, and hearing that character kind of break. Because there are lines where it's like, if you said this in a Marvel movie, it would be like comedic, but him saying it, you see the pain, or you hear the pain in his voice, and you're like, he's breaking down. Like, it's not like the Leon going, I can't believe so many people are dying, ha ha ha. He's just like, why the fuck is this happening? You know?
Especially like with this, like, well, we can't say it, but like, beginning of the movie, and I mean, it's in the trailer as well, beginning of the game actually, but like, there's a cinematic that happens, and it's like there's a frustration in his depression. Yeah. It's just like, God damn it! Like, it's another game. Leave me out of this fucking shit. Like,
fuck the Resident Evil world. We go Far Cry. At least I can have some fun there.
Yeah, like, there's a certain thing. And if there's any actors out there, just to let you know how to win me over is that if you act and say your lines through your teeth, I win it. And Ethan, the way he talks through his teeth, like, fucking pain on my fucking hand, you cut it off again? God damn it. Like, I love that.
And even the wife, like, when you have the conversations at the start, where she's like, oh, yeah, and she just, like, immediately gets, like, angry. I'm like, that's fantastic.
And
like,
scary. It's literally, like, because I don't know, like, dude, you're like Ethan. You're like, dude, like, are you going crazy again, like in RE7? So like, you're actually judging her, and the poor girl, like, she's like, can you please get over this shit? Like, God damn it.
And Ethan, understandably, can't get over it because guess what? A lot of shit happened. Like, and the thing is, it's not like a situation like, yeah, maybe only a couple people died, 10 or 15, and that's low standards compared to the Resident Evil. But like, this kind of just shows it's like, after the Resident Evil game, like, these guys had to live with what ended up happening, and it's like, it's not an easy thing to fucking live through. And Ethan didn't really get the worst of it. Like, freaking Chris Redfield had to deal with way more shit. Same thing with Leon, but like, it's still gonna affect, and I like that. Like, I don't know if they're gonna keep this character going, like, because I can't think of any of the Resident Evil games that had like in a row the same character. So maybe this is the last time we see Ethan. Maybe they do RE9 with him. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But we're talking all good about this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and segue to a movie that we should have talked about a long time ago. But everyone was talking about this one. This is Chaos Walking. Basically talking shit about it. And, for me, I think that, judging by when a movie comes out, what releases around the same time as a movie actually does too, some people will actually over-exaggerate their bad reviews. Like, I've seen it happen with, and I'm not saying this from a point of me liking Fred Durst, guys, but people lost their shit about The Fanatic, okay? And I don't agree with that. So, and then the same thing happened with that John Travolta movie. Wow, that's two actually. But what was the other one he did? Gotti, was that what it was?
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah. So like, those two movies were like, man, fuck this shit. This shit sucks. Blah blah blah. So for this it's like, okay, well, are you guys talking shit about the movie because it actually is bad, or maybe it's just like there's nothing out there that Oh, and Corey's calling me. Well,
oh, that's perfect. You can throw it on me. So basically, the movie's talking about is Chaos Walking, and the thing about it is, I remember hearing a story like years ago where they shelved this and they had to do reshoots because it was quote unquote unwatchable. And those are my favorite fucking words in the world, because it means it's so unbearably, hilariously bad that it's gonna be like no studio wants to release it. And I was like, oh yeah, these like when this was supposed to come out in 2019, these guys are like the biggest stars in the world, the freaking from Star Wars to fucking Spider-Man. And you might, okay, that shit confuses me, and the most of you turned around to be dead throughout the whole game. Wait, what? Sorry, what? That shit confused me.
Yeah, let me see. That shit that confused me as most is that you turned out to be dead throughout the whole game. Turns out you were killed in Resident Evil 7. Oh, wait. Hopefully that's not a spoiler, dude. Jesus Christ.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
it's lucky enough we're all confused, but I don't know what you said, but let me just, because I wish I could respond to whatever you were saying, but I just get confused.
Yeah.
But like, for me, I think that this is an example, or this is actually not an example of people running out of shit to complain about, because this movie, I will say, does kind of suck in some ways. And I don't know if you felt exactly.
Did you actually watch this?
Oh yeah, I watched the whole fucking
thing. I told you not to. I legitimately said please don't, because this movie fucking is boring as hell.
Well, here's the thing though, because the reason why I watched it, there was a reason why. The guy who did this is Doug Liman, or fuck, what's his name? Doug Liman. He did The Bourne Identity, which I never watched. I did watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He did Jumper, Edge of Tomorrow, American Made. All these movies that have identities within them. Like, for instance, like Jumper. That's the movie that's known as the guy who fucking jumps through time and goes all over the place, blah, blah, blah shit. Edge of Tomorrow. We all know what Edge of Tomorrow is at this point. Tom Cruise movie where, he respawns constantly. American Made, which I think Tom Cruise did a really good job in that movie, selling drugs, and he's in the airplane, blah, blah, blah. People used to fucking talk about that movie a lot. So for me, I was like, okay, well, this has an idea of it too, where it's like there's like this huge synopsis that becomes the movie's identity, and I was like, that could be interesting. Did you know about this identity before you watched this, by the way? Because I had no idea that this was what it was.
I knew there's some weird CG, and that was literally about it. And I was just like, again, these two stars, Daisy Ridley and freaking Tom Holland, like when this movie was supposed to come out, like the biggest stars in the world, from Spider-Man to Star Wars, like these were the biggest names in the world. So it's like this movie, it's like I can see why they shelved it, because this probably not necessarily would have hurt their career. It would have been a gigantic, like, yo, what the fuck? We combined the two biggest actors to this. The thing about it is, like, the premise is, and for people that are never going to watch this, and I implore you to never watch it, basically, it is thing called The Noise. Basically, all the men, whatever their thoughts are, just gets like, you can hear them, and then you can see the images. So it's like the guy's thinking about like a sandwich, you'd be like, I want to eat a sandwich. Like whatever your thoughts are in your head, you're able to. And they work so hard to just like think of birds or think of grass, think of something that people can't read your mind. So someone goes, hey, what the fuck you say about me? And it's like, oh shit, you a little bit. Oh fuck, I didn't mean that. Like you think that in your head, you got to stop that.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting, right? Of course it does. That sounds incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
They literally do nothing with it of any interest for the majority of this fucking movie. It becomes this like running gag almost. Or this kind of just like, you can see that it's frustrating, but you never see how it affects anybody at all. So it just becomes this thing of a mild inconvenience. Then when the story picks in and the characters show up, it turns out that there are certain people that it doesn't read. Like, for instance, like, yeah, they basically just say women cannot, like, you can't read women's thoughts. So only the men do. But again, that like really, yeah, pretty much. So it goes on and ends up being like, again, the premise is, there's really no premise. It's this freaking interesting twist on this world is not that interesting, because I'm like, you don't really do anything with this. What they fucking do, you can hear a bunch of people's thoughts, but they do some cool stuff in here visually, because you're able to fucking like make like, because people can see your thoughts. You can imagine a dragon and it'll scare someone, go, oh, dragon. But they only do an interesting thing like that in the climax of the movie. It would have been cool if this whole movie was like people with like mind powers and shit, where like, you could create like, because you could do basically anything. You create like multiple different fucking clones of yourself, or you create giant dragons. There's still mind powers, but like you can still do cool stuff with that. But like this one angry guy, he always has fire around, but it's just a visual effect. It's like this movie is just a basic. Hey, we gotta go kill those guys. Why? Because I want them dead. Okay, let's go to these 3 places. Hey, death follows. Movie over.
Well, like, because one thing I want to bring up too, because like there's certain things that make this movie not as bad as what I feel like other people. Because like you're right by everything you said, I don't disagree with any of that. But one thing I want to bring up is that the acting, Tom Holland does a pretty good job as far as like, I think he does a better job than like Shia LaBeouf did, and a lot of other people as far as like that nervous, chaotic acting that like Shia LaBeouf did, like in Transformers 2, and like, oh my god, I'm seeing signs, Megatron, whatever the fuck. I think that Tom Holland does it where it's like, this could have been annoying, but like he looks nervous, he looks like he can't take this chaotic bullshit that's going on in his fucking head. But at the same time, I'm not annoyed by him, because I feel like I would be acting the exact same way, and it's very like, I wouldn't say muted acting or very like chilled out, but it's like, no, pretty realistic, as well as like, what would you do if you weren't used to this particular thing in your fucking head? What if you can't control the noise? Like, I'd be like, oh, my name's Nick Diaz, fuck, shit, god.
Yeah, and people can control it to a certain degree, but in all honesty, it's like, it really just gets brought up as a tension breaker, but there's no real tension in the movie.
But see, on that too, because like his thoughts, as well as everyone else's, making everything chaotic, which, yeah, it's called chaos walking. I think that even though the movie is boring, I think that like the movie has no dead air, if that makes sense. Like,
yes, it does. It's all dead air all the time. Like it gets muted so much where you're just like, so what exactly is happening right now? Well, I mean, they're kind of eating some food and talking about how bad the food is, and then space.
But
and
see,
stuff.
Here's the thing: when they're eating, though, they're just like, oh man, it's fucking disgusting. And the guy's like, man, why are you looking at me? You should be like, fake punk ass face motherfucker. And it's like they're arguing with each other, but it's like it's so hard to explain, because I always bitch, and Ganja laughs his ass off every time I do this. But I hate eating scenes. I hate dinner scenes. I hate all that shit. But like, they did something special here where it could be washing your ass, it could be taking a shit or something. But the fact that mind is just just going crazy, and everyone's doing that, everything is like chaotic. Like, and I know I tried to make a pun earlier, but I'm telling you, like, I think that's why they named this movie that, because that fucking name, the word chaotic or chaos walking or whatever, it's never brought up in the movie. Like you would.
It
think
is. It's brought up at the very, very beginning because it's
really?
like a man's mind is to filter his thoughts or whatever. An unfiltered man is chaos walking or some stupid shit.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed that part where I was like mentioning my goldfish. But like, I will say that like, aside from that part, I guess I don't remember that really being like, because when a movie has a title like that, there's some titular conversation that happens where it's like, hey, like, hey, I think I have the chaos walking. How about you, Bob? Oh, I think I'm walking chaos too.
But even with that, like the thing is, we're talking about the premise. We're talking about that interesting quirk. That is really not that important to the movie. Like, it really isn't. It becomes a way to speed up what would otherwise be dragged out scenes. Like, for instance, I need to interrogate man because I need to find these two guys. Well, usually you would torture them or punch them or beat them up, but all I gotta do is keep saying it. Eventually your mind will give you up. It's a way to speed it up. But they really just use it as a plot. Like, it's a fast forward button on the plot. Oh, where do we go? I have a map, and then the character just shows map. Okay, I guess I'll follow you. Well, tell me about. Oh, are you sad right now? Well, let me show you this sad scene. It's just a way to fast forward the plot.
True,
like this movie would have been a 2.5.
I think that still acts as exposition though, which is good at times because even when like the exposition that we get is when the villains are pissed and they're having that mental thing going on or whatever. I feel like them wanting to get that girl is constantly moving the goalpost along. Where I feel like like you're probably right. It's all based on like their thoughts. But it's like, isn't that better than having someone literally explaining this fucking unnatural?
No, I would rather exposition and explaining it because the fucking thoughts are so random in the CG. Well, the only good CG is the random thoughts, but it becomes annoying to sit through. It literally becomes like you're just like I hate the sound design right now because it sounds like I'm in a fucking Grand Central Station every 5 minutes of this movie. And I get that's on purpose, but I'm just sitting here going, I don't care what's going on. Like the entire reason that she's being chased down by these guys doesn't become relevant until the last like 15 minutes. So you're going through the movie going, why are they going through all this trouble? Yeah. In any way, shape, or form. It's not like, oh, she knows something that'll cause issues. Like, it doesn't even become relevant until literally halfway through. And you're just like, oh, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But, like, it's like, it just becomes a waste of your fucking time. Especially when you start to, like, they don't even do a lot of world building. I could see why, because this guy does everything based on a book. I think this is also based on a book. I'm assuming whatever the book is, Chaos Walking, or whatever they adapt into, I bet it goes into everything from the noise. Like, there are things in here, like aliens are brought up that are never explored upon. The different societies are never really explored upon. Like, how come the area you start off as kind of a shithole, but everywhere else is pretty fucking good? Like, what's going on with Earth? Because that only really gets brought up for a couple fucking seconds. Where are we in the galaxy? Like, does space travel exist on other parts of this planet? Are there other planets that's going on? There are characters that look like they might be important, but never get brought up again. The dog in this movie has superpowers and no one talks about it. And if you don't, it has superpowers. At one point, they're literally ripping off the Revenant, where they're outrunning people. So fucking Daisy Ridley's on a bike, jumps off flies off a fucking cliff, and almost fucking dies. And because Tom Holland, I guess, wants to be Leonardo DiCaprio, he's on a fucking horse. Same exact thing happens. So they go 30 minutes later, the dog shows up, and I'm just like, okay, cool, doggy there. My buddy goes, so did the dog jump off the cliff too?
Oh, well,
how the fuck would he follow them?
I'm not even trying to make you mad, but like whether it's good or bad, I think that there is some universe building here. Like the movie talks about the fact that there's no women there.
There's no universe building because it never establishes anything that's going on.
Well, that's the thing. I think that but I think that they're trying to allude that this is going to have some kind of sequel or something, or like some kind of like spin-off series, or whatever. Because like there's a lot of things that they kind of allude to here, where it's like to make a kiss be a cliffhanger. And yes, people, I'm going to spoil that shit. Like I'm doing you a fucking favor by spoiling that. Like it takes an hour and 20 minutes for them to fucking hold hands. I wrote that shit down. I'm looking at notes and I put, make sure to bring up an hour and 20 minutes. That's what the hold hands thing is. And I'm like, wow, all the tension. I'm not saying I want to see a romance thing. Don't think that Jet's got to me, guys, where I'm okay with romance shit. But it's like that was frustrating. But like another thing too is like there's a lot of alluding to just like the stuff that they're even able to like. I compared this to fucking District 9. I was very blue-balled as far as like the revealing of some of the items they have, but like to have that tech there, it's like you guys were trying to show more, but you don't have the budget to do it, right? Because like, dude, like,
I don't know. They do a lot of CG in this. They had a budget, clearly,
but it was clearly spent, though. I think.
It's hard to tell exactly what they spent on who because they got a lot of big name actors in here, like a lot of big name. Almost every single person that has an audible line of dialogue is a really big name actor, like. Mads Mikkelsen is the main character. Again, Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, the worst Jonas brother.
Who played the preacher, by the way? Who was that preacher?
The preacher. I've seen him in other stuff before. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I've definitely seen him in other.
Nerves. That was annoying.
Oh yeah, he reminds me of he's the evil version of the preacher from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Who else? The girl one of the mayors in the other town you meet is what's her face that played what was that movie? Harriet Tubman. Was it Harriet Tubman?
Oh god, yeah. I think it was literally called Harriet Tubman.
yeah. She's in there. Like, this movie has every actor that has a line of dialogue is a big name actor.
But see, and actually, I'm glad you brought her up because I forgot what the main town is that Tom Holland's from, but it's called like Principitica.
Something like that.
It's not even that crazy, by the way. I'm just stupid, y'all. But it's like Persenka or something. But like, essentially, they keep telling Tom Holland's character, "Hey, like, there's no women here on this planet, and even if we do find them, or whatever, like, these women are essentially they can't do the whole mind reading shit that we do." But then when he goes over to this other town or whatever to escape these fucking guys and hide this girl, they find like another little girl, which in order to have little girls, you gotta be having sex, so women. And then the main townsperson, as Alan alluded to earlier, is like, yeah, she's the main person there. And people like respect her too, and I think it's because they're scared because like, oh, she can read her thoughts, so she's better than us. Like, she can fucking know what we're gonna do. But I was like, okay, like the fact that you're even willing to even show just that town, there must be many other towns, and there must be women here, and they must be really fucking powerful. So, is there gonna be a Chaos Walking 2 where we see like a bunch of women beat the fuck out of dudes?
I don't think so because this movie must have done fucking horribly. I don't think like they would ever even scrounge the money to get a sequel because I don't even know what the budget on this thing is. It says 100 million, but it has to be at least double that because they did a bunch of reshoots and they had to re-advertise this whole thing. And it says it's made 20 million, but it's also, one during a pandemic, and two, it's like there's no way. And plus, in all honesty, as not like I don't think that they'd even want like I don't think Daisy Ridley or Tom Holland would ever want to come back to this. Like this again, doing a book adaptation is extremely difficult because again, books are hundreds of pages. And trying to get all that detail into a movie, it's going to be difficult unless you have something guaranteed like the Harry Potter fucking movies. Where it's like, yeah, we're going to get the budget to make a Harry Potter fucking movie, even a spinoff. But this was just another one of the fucking young adult novels that is going to burn to the ground. And then in about a year and a half, Netflix is going to make the fucking TV show.
So I'm trying to load this up really quick, guys. But over here, I'm looking at Lionsgate, the main site, because that's the people that did the Chaos Walking thing. I'm trying to see, like, I know Minari didn't make a lot of money. You know, even though it got
Oscar bait movies don't generally make a lot of money, but they're like, hey, we want to get the prestigious awards.
Yeah, and then you're looking at like, you know, here's Spiral over here, but like, yeah, look at all these movies like Voyagers, Vanquish. Like, I don't know much about this shit. Oh well, you know, here we go. Franchises, John Wick. So they do have their money earning particular platforms here, but like Annabelle didn't do great last year. You know, I mean, Uncle Drew.
Oh man, All Eyes on Me was a bomb. Almost everything on this movie a bomb? No, except for the Medea movie.
Well, it's because so many movies, like the Saw franchise, those are just money, you know.
How much did Jigsaw make, the most recent one?
I don't even fucking know. I'll probably look that up in a minute. But John Wick is amazing. Rambo, you know, like, so these things make so much money, and I feel like they finance all these failures to the point.
Oh yeah. Like Jigsaw made $100 million on a $10 million budget. Like,
yeah. So fuck. I mean, it's really crazy considering like. I think I mean, and the reason why I brought that up, guys, is like I think that there might be a slight chance that fucking you know, this movie, I forgot already, Chaos Walking.
I highly fucking doubt it. Like, yes, every single time I see the fucking poster for Chaos Walking, my first thought is The Knowing.
Oh yeah, because that fucking weird like moon or you know. Something.
Yeah. That movie's legitimately. That movie is so bad. If I ever meet Alex Proya, I'm pieing him in the face.
What was that movie with George Clooney? Tomorrowland or something, I think it's called.
No, Tomorrowland's about a theme park.
Oh, for real? Okay, but like I don't know why, but there's something about it that I keep like thinking of Tomorrowland every time I see Chaos Walking. Like when I first saw the image, I was like, it looks the same to me. Overall, I guess to talk about end this fucking segment, I guess, because I think we're giving it too much fucking attention already, probably. So more
attention than it deserves. I legitimately fell asleep during this movie.
But I will say overall, the movie, you know, like Alan said, it's boring. But not from a lack of trying. I don't think it ever got confusing. And what needed to be revealed was revealed, and what was wanted to be revealed but wasn't was at least not insulting when a big portion of the tone of the movie is something based off of, you know, all the other shit. Like,
it was totally insulting because once you get to the villains, fucking like how they defeat the villain is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, but one thing that did frustrate me, and I brought that up earlier, is just like the whole idea of an hour and 20 minutes into the hand holding thing, because it's like you guys were alluding to this particular. I said the word alluding like 20 fucking times during this review.
I'm just curious that like that to be didn't bother me because I'm like, you better not kiss. Like I swear to God, if you fucking kiss, this is gonna be like the I fell in love in 3 days type shit. I'm like, no, I fucking hate that.
Like that's the thing is like she's been because they even tell you like, hey, she hasn't been on Earth actually. It's been 64 years of that fucking spaceship going around this entire orbit, and I'm like, oh, like. So she's probably like, I've never been in a situation where like my parents aren't watching me, so I might just suck a dick because fucking this is great. What? Like I can't.
No, because she's on her way into the fucking planet. There's like fucking 10 other people there.
But for me, I felt blueballed with not only like the District 9 stuff. Like I mean, and I keep saying District 9 stuff because I have no other way to say it. But like those weapons are really cool. But we only see it shot once. We only see one thing done once, and I'm like, oh, you can do it again? No, fuck. You assholes. And I was really excited to see some cool tech used, and they just show me that in the universe it might be there, but in this movie it certainly fucking won't be, and that was frustrating. But the worst thing, because I don't mind getting blue ball for certain things. Me and Jet talk about this as far as anime, where I fucking hate anime endings like to shows. I think every fucking last episode, some of these animes are fucking terrible, and they do the same thing here.
Pick the worst one because Fullmetal Alchemist has a great ending.
Oh yeah, well I haven't watched that, but like I'm just saying like because we watched like I think it was I can't remember. It doesn't matter, but like essentially what they do here is pretty much the same thing. Where I don't want no romance stuff, but if you're gonna do romance stuff, then let's go there. The last thing that they fucking have at the end of the movie, the cliffhanger before the credits, is Tom Holland going, Are you gonna kiss me? No, his brain actually, his thoughts. He's like, is she gonna kiss me? And she's like, no, and she walks away. And then credits, like I'm supposed to go, oh, I can't wait for part 2 where they kiss. Get the fuck out of here! Are you serious? For an hour and 48 fucking minute movie, that's your cliffhanger, you piece of shit. Like, dude, I was so frustrated.
I don't know why, because not like kissing would have made the movie any better.
But at least I would have got a payoff to something.
It wouldn't have mattered. The payoff would have been stupid if they made out. It would have been just like fucking Ready Player One. You only known it for 3 hours, but you're fucking in love and making out. Like, no.
Yeah, but
it would have been way worse. I'd be like, oh, you fucking kidding me? You the literally only girl you've ever met in a society in which you haven't seen a woman your entire life, and you made out with her within like a couple hours of meeting her. I'm like, come on, really? Are we gonna consistently do this thing where the only reason a guy ever deals with any women shit is just to make out with them? Like, really? We're gonna continue that trend?
I feel like it would have been better if she made it happen.
So again, the reward to helping out a woman is sexual favors. Okay.
No, like, I'm saying no. I mean like her initiating it. Like I would imagine like what if she was the character goes like, I helped you and you saved me, and you know what?
And here's your reward, my body, because I hate that movie. I'm not saying that's your fault. I just hate that in movies because you see it all the time. It's like, oh man, you're my hero. I guess I'll reward you with my body because that's all I'm used for.
Well, I'll put it like this: it's essentially look at musicals. If I watch Grease and all that stupid, silly fucking like, hey, you want to go to the fucking theater, girl, right? And then like no dancing happens. I hate musicals, but this is a musical. You better musical it up.
Well, that's different though. People like dancing in a musical, yes, but expecting like some sort of like kiss or some sort of like exchange at the end of a fucking like mission, to me, it's like, why is that absolutely fucking necessary? Like,
well, I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is like the movie already decided that it's going to do that when the movie started. So like essentially, they are already doing it. I know you don't like it, neither do I. We're both in the same point. Like
I'm fine with the ending. I'm fine with them not doing it because, like, hey, maybe they'll have a relationship where they actually get to know each other, and maybe they'll have more organic, actual lines of dialogue in the next movie. And the hand holding was actually like at a scene where the character, like, a lot fucking happens to him, to which most of it is her fucking fault, but. It's like that was a scene where it's like, yeah, that makes sense to hold hands because it's like, hey, something fucking dramatic fucking happens. And so, but then at the end of the thing I would have been so fucking mad. It's like, okay, can we stop with this whole like the only way to fucking make someone feel better or comfort somebody between a man and a woman is to have them make out or sexual favors? Like, why do we have to be that lazy with fucking writing?
I guess I basically he's doing the same thing I did with 10184 and the arcade stuff. He's very upset about this kissing thing, but I get you though.
That's not the same thing, but sure.
Totally
Mauricio brought up something about the animal abuse. Look, man, this movie hates horses.
Okay, no, yeah, but like for me,
it hates horses because horses get it the worst in this movie. Like, remember that clip scene I was talking about? Horse's leg breaks, motherfucker gets to like slit its throat. Then later on, gets another horse, goes into the water. And then the fucking rabbits just fucking murder that thing. Like, this movie hates horses.
No, I get you, but like, the reason why I didn't really respond to that, no offense to Marisa, but it's like, if we're gonna say that, it's like, how many were killed in Justice League? How many fucking dogs are killed in horror movies? Like, Freddy Krueger always gotta kill a dog.
Oh, but they're not like they're not as like this. Like, if you said a Jason movie hates a particular animal, that's fine. No, just the amount of like graphicness that I got with some of that, I'm like, this movie hates horses. Where it's like in Justice League, it's like if you said Justice League hates horses, yeah, probably you're probably right.
By the way, I didn't like Nick Jonas in this. That's one last thing.
Oh, he's the worst Jonas brother.
Yeah. Well, I don't know shit about the Jonas Brothers.
I just like saying that because they're Jonas Brothers fans. That I make them mad by saying that.
Oh no, but because wasn't he in Jumanji?
Yes, that's why I hate
Jumanji?
him. I don't like him as an actor.
He's not too bad in Jumanji. I like him in there.
I thought it was Jumanji.
Yeah,
Jumanji, Jumanji.
You sit here and insult me.
Yeah, I don't know.
That first Jumanji is amazing. That second one's a piece of shit.
But yeah, so I like him in that, and like in here, I just feel like, and it's not his fault, by the way, not to make excuses for some guy I don't even give a fuck about, but it's like, hey, so you're a girl in here? I guess I'll just fuck with your stuff then. I'm a big dumb.
Oh, I said to go. Oh, you're a woman. I guess it's time to like fucking make my advances.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, like that's, your fucking thoughts are literally appearing outside your fucking head, and everybody can hear it. There's people outside that they can all hear each other, and you still got to be a dick. What kind of dumb fucking world? Like, I don't even want to get into that.
Again, this world is fucking stupid, and the premise of the noise is really not that interesting. Like, it's really not an interesting concept because the movie doesn't really find it that interesting. It's more concerned with its plot point of getting from point A to point B. And I'm not saying I hate that. In fact, I really like the whole we got to get from point A to point B, and the movie is the adventure along the way. Yeah. That's some of my favorite fucking movies are like that. Some of my favorite games are like that. BioShock, the first Last of Us, is just we got to get from point A to point B, and the adventures along the way. Metro 2033. That's a fantastic premise. The thing is this movie's so concerned with that the fucking noise becomes this secondary, almost like random little sprinkle on top of the movie. But the problem is you're putting sprinkles on a oatmeal cookie, and it's like the sprinkles themselves have no flavor. So this is just pretty icing on nothing.
Yeah. But I guess, and just to kind of go back to what I was trying to say earlier, essentially about the whole like, romantic situations going on. For me, I think that just that time that building the romantic connection, whatever, would have been spent more wisely doing like, showing more weaponry or explaining the world as Alan's upset about, or being funny, or just doing something, just any fucking thing. But instead, we just got like one last little blue ball moment, just like what they did with the District 9 stuff, in my opinion. And yeah, like for me, that was a big deciding factor as far as like if I consider this one rating versus another, and I had to bring this down another layer because it's like, dude, yeah, like this is gonna be 2 out of 5. It's definitely below average, but it's like no, like that shit at the end where it's like now you just wasted my fucking time, and you are happy about it. It's like it's a 1.5 out of 5 for me. I actually hate this movie, but there's potential. If there's a Chaos Walking 2, I'll watch it.
You do that, bro.
But how about you, sir? What would your rating be? And go ahead and slap this movie in the face one last time.
Okay. If it wasn't for the way this would have been a 2.5 out of 5, like a perfectly not average. It would have just been like it didn't make me angry. It didn't make me interesting. It was neutral. I couldn't care less. The way the villain dies in this movie is so unbelievably stupid that it literally lowers it to a 1. By the way, I'm gonna spoil this movie because don't fucking watch it. So this whole time when the fucking noise comes out and all that shit, it's all mind stuff. So you can make like a dragon or like a fucking Liu Kang's animality with a fire. You could do that, but it's all illusions. You can't hurt people with the illusions. It just looks fucking weird. At the climax of the fucking movie, one of the guys makes a fucking image so realistic that they think it's the girl. It's like, oh, come over here. Oh no, turns out it's an illusion as they run the fuck off. So the guy chases them down. He starts having a fight with Tom Holland, and Tom Holland fucking makes an image of his fucking mother because this guy killed his fucking mom. I'm playing the whole movie. I don't give a fuck. Gunshot wound and everything, and she goes, "You killed me because you're powerful, whatever." Like, that makes like 5 fucking more, and the guy goes scared, going with a gun, going, I'm like, they're
walk through
illusions. Do nothing, and then he starts backing up to the cliff and looks back, going, I'm like, they're illusions. They can't hurt you. Why are you backing up? Just shoot them.
No, here's one thing though. Look, I'm gonna chalk this up to
that shit was stupid.
No, because one thing is, I actually chalk it up to me not paying attention, and people, this world, as Alan said earlier, is not explained well enough. So keep in mind that's why we're confused here. But right before he did that scene with the 5 moms or whatever, and they were scaring him, right before that, during their fight scene, he was actually using like Noob Saibot powers.
No, that was the only cool part of the movie where he's punching the guy. Oh shit, it's a fucking
but his
illusion.
clone was punching him, like his image was punching him.
No, but it was fake. So even though it looked like he was being punched, he actually wasn't being hit.
Oh, I could have sworn like one dude was like, or one of his images was like kicking him in the spine. Like, didn't he kick him in the back? And he
At no point does it ever hurt. But what it is he basically was doing the Loki power where you think you're fighting him, but then it either went through or he just disappeared. And it's like at one point, it's like he's holding the gun. He goes, "Oh no, gun!" But then the guy's behind him. So it's like it was a cool way. It's like, hey, during a fight, you can do that kind of stuff. The problem is the main villain was doing that, but then gets fooled by the guy on the ground. Oh, hey, bunch of illusions. Pa!
Yeah.
Like, oh my fucking god, that legitimately look at that going, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've sat through in a while. It takes an entire point and a half off. This is a 1 out of 5.
I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm 1.5 out of 5 because of certain things whatever, but it's like I see where you're coming from. This movie fucking sucks. And normally, I started this review off trying to come up with a way of like, I'm gonna find some way to keep audience retention by talking about, hey, like, will it be good or bad? Fucking the first paragraph had to end off like, no, this is bad. Like, this is fucking terrible. There's nothing I can do to defend it. This is bad. But there's maybe something there for later on. And we'll just have to see if that gets revealed to be the case later on. As far as like, I mean, I don't think it's gonna
I'll put money down on this. This movie's never coming. They're never making a sequel to this.
Honestly, I can't say you're wrong in that sense because it's just.
I'll pay for Nick's ticket if there's ever a Chaos Walking 2. Like that's how confident I am.
Because that's how much you hate me. You'll do that to be like, yeah, we watch this fucking movie defending.
Yeah, he said, "I'll watch a Chaos 2 if there is." You better fucking watch it. And by that point, it's gonna be like 2025, so theaters will be open, so you'll have to go watch it.
Jesus, like I regret everything.
But anyways, we'll do this really, really quick, guys. It's 2 episodes. I didn't even know, but good old Star Wars: Bad Batch. So I'm not gonna go into
Bad bitch.
Yeah, the bad bitch.
When I saw that,
that's a running joke that everyone calling it the bad bitch.
Yeah, well, no, because right away, especially if you see it like in small, like, especially when that whole like Disney thing came out, or like, oh, here's all the things I'm gonna be working on. Like,
well, fuck
right
me,
away,
I scrolled by it real quick because I thought it was like just a promotion. So I was just scrolling by. I said, "Star Wars Bad Bitch," and scroll back. Oh, Bad Batch. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, no. Like, here's the thing, guys, because this is based on a lot of other shit that I'm not gonna do any research for. I'm not gonna go into town detail. But I will say that, I pretty much know nothing about the Star Wars universe, but still want to check this out because I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the properties, but I do like The Mandalorian, and I do like Jedi Fallen Order quite a bit. So what I'll say here is that the synopsis being centered around the group called the Bad Batch, led by the character Hunter, which, by the way, Hunter, I was hoping they would show him on this trailer right now, but Hunter looks exactly like Nightwolf. Or like a combination of Nightwolf and Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. Maybe I'm just being a Mortal Kombat nerd to be like, oh shit. But I'm gonna type it in really quick. I want you guys to see this shit. Bad Batch Hunter, because I want Ganja's opinion on this.
Oh no.
Let me see if I can find Okay, that's not the best example, but yeah, I feel like it looks like Nightwolf, bro.
Let's see,
I can tell they got some.
You're only saying that because the bandana. If you said,
you know what? Actually, I don't see Nightwolf. I see that one
Rambo.
Indio character from fucking Predator.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The guy who cuts himself.
They look like Rainbow 2 or fucking Turok.
Did you say Rainbow?
Rambo.
Rainbow 2.
Rainbow 2. I see the stars. What's the other
What?
green rainbow thing? I forgot. No, I quit. You know what? Hey.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Fuck the show. Yo, let's turn this off.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that was a little embarrassing. That never happened, guys. Not canon. But no, moving on, though. This team, this Bad Batch, is led by the character named Hunter, the guy I just showed. And he's having these guys start off the first 10 minutes killing people, and they're at war, which is cool because you kind of get that out of the way, it being Star Wars and whatnot. But then they also have the situation where like the show shows them having to deal with like the fact that Order 66 happened, and I believe, and Ganja might know this, and you can probably explain this. I don't know what Order 66 is, but I'm pretty sure it's like what started off a lot of bad shit happening at episode 4. Right?
Episode 3, actually, and that's what's actually starts the Jedi purge. It's what made a lot of stormtroopers betray the Jedi generals that they were serving under, and it's start the mass genocide of the Jedi's.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so essentially these guys, a Bad Batch, which, by the way, just so you guys know, if you're curious, why are they called the Bad Batch? Well, they're the Bad Batch of clones. They are a part of the clones that they had that are cloned after certain stormtroopers. But these guys, the reason why they're considered the Bad Batch is because they're basically garbage, according to the Empire. Because they're like, oh, well, you guys are not really as obedient as we would like you to be. So when you guys go on these like little like who gives a fuck missions, you're probably gonna fuck up. So you're just expendable. Who cares if they break you, kill you, whatever? You ain't shit. So the thing. Oh, and by the way, too, I want to show you this. Ganja, is this an animated version of that one dude?
Yeah.
The first, yeah, okay, I thought
Yeah,
so.
that's General Tarkin, I think.
Tarkin.
Tarkin, you think Tarkin is it?
Yeah, I guess he was supposed to be Peter Cullen. Like Peter Cullen's the guy who played him or whatever. I think,
Mm-hmm.
or I could be wrong. I don't know who.
No, you're right. You got it.
All right, there's so much Star Wars, guys. So I fucking
Yeah, because this is essentially a sequel to the Clone Wars television show, which I want. Again, I was basically trying to watch it, but then a bunch of other stuff came up, so I'm only like on season 3 of 7. So eventually, when I finish up Clone Wars, I'm gonna check out the Bad Batch.
But yeah, these clones though, so they're doing something good for the Empire. I mean, and then obviously Empire's bad, so they're bad. But it's like in this situation, they're just doing a job. They're just trying to do what the fuck they got to do. And then it gets into a situation where Order 66 happens on their walkie-talkies, and they have to go and take care of, take care. I mean, like kill the two innocent people that we see that have the lightsabers. Apparently, they're Jedi. I don't know who counts as a Jedi anymore. Everyone has that fucking lightsaber.
If you have a lightsaber, you're in the purge.
Yeah, which is annoying. But they go after them. They kill or I feel they do it off screen, but I think they kill the character that's supposed to be the master of this little kid named Caleb. Caleb disappears, but Hunter, the main guy from Bad Batch, seems to be like,
Caleb is one of the characters from Rebels.
yep, yeah, I knew I'd seen that kid for somewhere. And he knows all of his like tricks and shit. So I'm like, okay, this character's been around and has been taught by either, Mark, what was his name, Luke Skywalker or somebody. I don't know, but either way, though, he's really good at his fucking thing. He leaves, the area so the Bad Batch can't get to him and stuff. But Hunter kind of let him go. He could have got him, but he was like, I'm not going to do it because I don't know what the fuck Order 66 is, and I don't want to kill you guys. But they get in trouble, and one of the guys that are on their team, his name is, fuck, I forgot his name, Crosshair. But he's always like, dude, like, we got to do what we're told to do. Like, if you fuck around with that, you're going to get me in trouble and get everybody else in trouble. I'm not liking that shit. So,
well, like that the clones, they can be killed if they disobey. That's something that the Empire, the Galactic Republic, was kind of fucked up on.
yeah, so I mean, what I'll say, not to go by scene, because this is already, I'm realizing like how long I'm already am being with this. So I'm going to imagine that I'm making Star Wars fans mad with just the review. So all I'll say is that if you're a fan of this kind of stuff and you're on the fence as far as watching, or if you're not a fan, that's what I meant to say. If you're not a fan of this stuff, but you're on the fence of watching something like this, there's a lot of character development here that doesn't need for you to know shit about anything else in the universe. And there is low stakes action. There's even a practice scene in here where like you get to see lots of action, but you're not like, oh, they're gonna die. They're pretty cool with telling you, hey, like no one's gonna die here. But then it goes into high stakes action right away. It's like holy shit. So that's a pretty cool thing that I enjoyed personally. And they even have this new character, this kid character named Omega, and she comes in as like this cute, friendly, whatever the fuck type of character, but ends up becoming way more useful than like a Baby Yoda would be, and adds even more like stakes to the situation. And then at the same time, she's always involved in like action as well. So you're probably expecting, because you're used to cartoons and shit. You're like, oh, kid character, she ain't gonna fucking mean anything. No, this character means a lot. It's actually really interesting how they do this character. But I give the first episode a 3 out of 5 because it wasn't anything special. But I still prefer this over any of the other properties cut outside of Mandalorian. Now for episode 2. And this is going to be even shorter than before because at the end of episode 1, we get a situation where, I forgot his fucking name again. What crosshair? That's such a. I never use the word crosshair, so like I can't remember.
Crossfire.
Really, I do that all the time when playing first person shooters. Got him at crosshairs type shit.
Yeah, exactly. And to Hollow Man's point, yeah, being more useful than Grogu is not saying very much. I totally agree with that. But
that Baby Yoda is a treasure, and y'all can go fuck
I'm
yourself.
so sick of Baby Yoda. I can't stand that fucking
treasure.
Long live Baby Yoda.
Goddamn right.
But I will say we end off that first episode essentially with them kind of revealing like, hey, so the guys, the Empire, were going to kill the Bad Batch, and what they did is they grabbed Crosshair, and they did some mind control shit where they basically kind of fixed him. So now he's even more obedient than before, and now he has a mission: go fuck up your team because they almost got your asses killed. So that's how we end off episode 1. And there's even a fight scene with that. Doesn't really matter to go into too much detail. But that was an hour-long episode, that first one. And then we get into this next episode, and it's only like 22 minutes. And I was like, oh, like that's cool. But now are we going to have very minimal story going forward? And it kind of is the case.
Well, actually, so the funny thing is that was what it was supposed to be. Because, again, watching Clone Wars, they're 22-minute episodes. Hopefully they're not going to do any crazy bullshit like they did, with the first 3 seasons where they just had a dice roll of how they're going to release the fucking episodes. Mm-hmm. But if you actually find, like, there's an actual, like, I literally always have it open the tab, but it's just which episodes to go next. But it's 20 minutes, and they actually get a lot of storytelling done in a short amount of time. Like, watching the Clone Wars, they go into the characters, how they managed to build up Anakin. They have a lot of action. There's a lot of sword fights. There's a lot of gunfights. Like, it's one of those shows where it's like I can understand why it was so popular because it was so well done. It expanded the Star Wars universe so much that it's like it added like a ton of things. It's probably one of the reasons people love Star Wars as much as they did after the prequels was probably because of Clone Wars.
Yeah. And this character, like, because here's the thing, it's like, they had to focus on Hunter, they gotta focus on Omega, they gotta focus on Order 66, and just the general, like, how everything works with the Stormtroopers. So I totally understand that, and not us getting to know the main, or, the individual characters as much. One of the characters that's not necessarily main, but he's part of the Bad Batch, is Wrecker. This dude is so fucking funny and fun and badass, but then has, like, a sweetheart personality. And the episode 2 is essentially just him hanging out, them getting to learn more about Omega, them actually find another planet, I guess, to be in. Which, by the way, I love this. I love that we're seeing other places. Mandalorian did that for a little bit, and then ended up going back to Tatooine and blah blah blah. But like they did try, and I gotta give mass props to when Star Wars wants to deviate from what everyone already knows about Star Wars.
Let's go back to Han.
Again, I really think that you should watch Clone Wars. I know it's a daunting task, 7 seasons, 20 episodes, but like. They actually go through, like, that's one of the reasons I like it, because you get to get, even though all the clones look the same, you get to start to see their personalities. They differentiate it by this guy has a stripe and this guy has dual wielding. Like, they have to do that because everyone looks the same. But you got a lot of story with them. You got a lot of story with Anakin and Obi-Wan and the other Jedi. Everyone gets fleshed out. And it ends up working out really, really well, where you get to discover all this new stuff, the Jedi Order, a lot of the smuggling, like, people dying left and right. Like, this might be a kid show, but people are fucking getting murdered, like, hard.
Well, one thing I liked about this that I would compare to Jedi Fallen Order, and granted, like, people keep in mind my intelligence and my retention on Star Wars things is kind of low because I'll just be like, oh, it's fucking stupid. Like, I don't know any of the characters that are inside that bar. And, like, I know.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, I hate that fucking song.
Fucking nerd. It's great.
But there's all these different, like, they don't just have like crazy people in there. It's like every single one of those people inside that bar or whatever. What do they call it, by the way?
Cantina.
Cantina. Okay, yeah, everybody in that cantina. They are different species that live in this world. So for people that are not into this, they look at that and go like, "Oh, some stupid crazy shit." It's not crazy shit. That's a whole universe in that fucking place. So the thing is, though, it's like with this, I'll watch like all these other movies and Mandalorian, whatever, and I never care about the enemies. Like if they find some big monster, it's like, boom, they kill it, whatever. And it's always like they build up to like having to kill it, and then they don't bring it up for like numerous episodes or numerous movies or whatever. And here, when Wrecker and Hunter and everybody get to this other planet or town or wherever the fuck they're at, there's like little small monsters that you would probably see in Jedi Fallen Order. And I love that about Jedi Fallen Order because I was like, oh, look at that thing that looks like a dog, but it's like reptilian and has a wing and has all this crazy shit to it. It's really interesting, but in Jedi Fallen Order, you just kill it, you get points, you move on. And here, we get to see how they act, how they get scared if they're in combat, where they hang out, how they, all these characters have to deal with these things all the time because it's their norm. It's really interesting. Like, you guys did not have to do that. You could have had some long fucking, plateau of weeds and flowers, and you could have just gave us exposition, but no, like Omega's playing outside, and then some weird dog alien creature comes at her, and it's like, let's learn about that. Fuck yeah, like
Yeah, that's the benefit with television shows. That's benefit with animated, and benefit with the Star Wars universe is there's so much going on. But when you have the movies, you have to do this kind of good versus evil. When it comes to the show, you like again, a lot of the stuff they talk about is like, are they on the right side of the war? Is this war even right? Like the politics that George Lucas wanted in the prequels that just got overshadowed because he's a garbage writer. He basically gets fleshed out because Dave Filoni. I don't know if Dave Filoni is working on this one, but I know he helped a lot with Clone Wars and with Mandalorian, with everything there, where he's able to kind of like get the crazy cracked out ramblings of George Lucas and make them into something.
Yeah. So that's something you definitely see here, which is pretty cool. Whether or not that particular guy is working on this, which I wish I would have known. I'm silly. But, like, one thing I will say, too, is, like, at the end of the episode, we get into a situation where Omega, her and half the team go to basically divert, which is a very smart divert. They want to let the stormtroopers and Empire know that, like, the spaceship is loose because they would find out. It's like when people steal police cars. Like, why would you do that? They have trackers on them, you fucking idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So imagine these guys leaving the planet. They're going to know where they're at. So they just go park it right back to where it was and leave it so they can be like, hey, who abandoned this fucking piece of shit? It's smart. But then that becomes like a whole stealth mission. But while we're learning about that, the other team is going through their own stealth mission. And then there's action, but there's more stealth. So it's like you're getting two different types of, like nervousness going on. And we've already seen characters kind of die and get really hurt. So it's like, who knows where the show's going to go?
Yep.
I'm fucking loving it. Yeah, episode 2 is a 4 out of 5 for me because I think it did certain things that were way easier to digest because it's only 22 minutes in the first episode. If you can get through the first episode, I think that this is going to be a fucking anything but a chore. This is going to be fun to watch if you're a non-Star Wars fan. And if you are a Star Wars fan, you probably won't even listen to this review because you already watched it because who gives a fuck. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. I need to watch Star Wars Resistance now. That's the one thing I want to go back and check out, or Rebels, or...
Yeah, it's Rebels. Rebels, because I'll get there eventually once I finish up Clone Wars and go on to Rebels. Apparently, Rebels is not as good as Clone Wars, but that's people are saying differently where it's better, but it's a very different kind of thing. But it's a sequel, so it's like this is essentially like the third sequel type shit to Clone Wars. So
me personally, I love the fuck out of Rebels.
Is it better? Is it good? Like, what's the difference?
I haven't seen Bad Batch yet. But me personally, I really enjoyed Rebels. It actually takes a lot of adult turns that you don't suspect. Makes Darth Vader look like a badass again, too, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and Blasian says, honestly, you can skip Resistance. I would imagine so.
What is Star Wars Resistance?
It was, it came out like 2 years ago. I remember I saw the trailer in early 2018, I believe.
Oh, that's the one that looks like complete fucking garbage, yeah.
Damn.
Oh, man, yeah, I looked at the poster. That shit looks like fucking ass. Oh, my God. It looked like it was made on a fucking $4 budget. It looks like fucking Pacific Rim the Black.
Yeah, you roasted the fuck out.
I know, like damn.
Oh no,
like,
I remember the trailer for that shit. No, because
like,
Nick always does this with animated movies. He goes, it doesn't look so bad. It could be something, Yeah, sure. And then I look at it going, this is the worst fucking garbage I've ever goddamn fucking looked at.
I just don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to animation stuff. Because for me, and sorry, Chad, and you guys can use this against me as well as you, Alan. I'm sure you fucking will, asshole. But it's like. I still in that zone of like I barely just got out of animation's not for kids. Like, you know what I mean?
What the hell get out of the comics is not for kids, but hey, baby steps.
No, that'll never happen.
That will.
So what adults in there? This is some good storytelling. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Shoom, bing, pow.
As I cut to a panel in which Batman has to explain that he likes that in order to save this criminal's life, he has to actually stop the guy he's been driving up nuts because he didn't realize the other guy was there. So he has to save someone's life while also trying to take down these criminals.
And that's cool, and that's amazing, and that's one issue out of, what, a million that are silly as fuck?
It doesn't matter if there's a million. It matters about how good the good ones are.
By the way, Blasian, this is Fox News Nick talking. This is not Nick Diaz.
No, don't compare him to Bill Maher. Bill Maher is a fucking idiot, a fucking racist, and honestly does not deserve to have a fucking talk show. Nick actually has a brain.
I was actually like really upset that Ice Cube was like, I forgive you, man, but just don't say that shit again. You heard? It's like, motherfucker, like, can you slap him? God damn it.
Somebody please hit Bill. Oh, no. I cannot advocate violence.
Tell me,
I did
please.
not say that.
Give him
throw a pie at him.
There we go. By the way, would you get arrested if you threw a pie in someone's face and the cops come, hey, you assaulted him? It's like, it's pie. It's delicious. Like,
actually, no, any amount of... anytime you throw something at anyone, it could technically be construed as assault.
Yeah, that's assault.
Damn, that sucks. I was going to throw a pie at motherfucker. I know a couple people that deserve pies. But either way, though,
full pie, not just a bunch of whipped cream in a pan. Like, just bake it.
Yeah, and make it nice, hot, and fresh. Just fuck my eyes.
But it's still delicious.
You know what else is delicious and very hot and fresh? The content that's over there at Metropolis Collective. So why don't you tell them about this pie of awesomeness? That was pretty good, dude. Yeah, that's why you're sighing. He sighed because he was like, that was actually a pretty good fucking segue.
It really, really fucking wasn't. I am literally staring at the Illuminati premiere, which is going to hit literally as soon as there's a show. I just got to pop in the description and it'll go. The Nerdist Podcast just literally did theirs. Cedric had his come up a couple hours ago, mostly because I put the wrong images in. So we re-uploaded that shit. So those guys, again, continuing their Sunday stuff. Check out the Horror Hole. That's good. They've had a couple episodes out. They're going to continue dealing with these fucking motherfuckers. Just put a like to Metropolis. Everything that's premiered, there's going to be something for somebody. Check it out. We're continuing to make sure that Spotify and other playlists are updated. We're working on that for the next couple of days. So be sure to check that out.
Hey, Horror Hole.
I will show my asshole on screen right now and get us banned off Twitch.
Hey, chat. I know Metropolis doesn't watch this show. Please. Change the name. There's a lot of things you can do. Call it the Slasher something.
Don't listen to Nick in regards to name changes.
I will literally donate you guys a name. Please, the Horror Hole.
That's not how that works.
Crazy. The Horror Hole? Talk about Jason, Freddy, and
What
some
the fuck's your
prostitutes.
horror show called, Nick?
It doesn't have a name. It's the Untitled Horror Show.
Fuck you. You know what, Nick? Never mind. That sounds fantastic. You should do it for a year and have the best views.
Peace out, everybody. Take care.